Josh.
That's a little ditty.
Ooh, that was Josh, everyone.
That was a ditty from my titty.
I don't know what Josh has been doing in his past, but he plays about 7 different instruments.
I used to smoke a lot of weed.
How many instruments?
Good question. So it started out, I asked my dad to teach me to play guitar. He was like, nah, can't be fucked. So I learned to play the didgeridoo because I bought one at a market one day. And then I learned to play the harmonica. And then it went for the slide guitar because I couldn't figure out how to play the normal guitar properly. Eventually figured out how to play the guitar. Then I picked up a banjo, started strumming that, which isn't really that hard if you know how to play guitar. And then I learned a little bit of the keys, which I've been doing. And you guys will be lucky enough to, well, I hope you're lucky enough to hear some of the little jingles that we got for you in store in this episode. But this is Dog Ugly Dudes Talking Dogs. Welcome back, you beautiful ladies and gentlemen out there. This is the second episode. And we're chugging along. I got Big Kahuna right beside me. Big Kahuna, how are you?
I'm going well. Really well.
You look very well.
Oh, thank you very much.
You look fit as a fiddle.
You don't have to talk about it all the time. Wait till I get skinny, and then
you are skinny.
I'm getting there. Now, before we get too far into this, we need to talk about the swear jar. Because you've already done one.
I know. I've dropped an F-bomb.
Yeah. So we've decided we're going to put a swear jar into place because Josh can't keep his.
And it'll be this little, and you'll hear it every time I swear. It'll be by this little sound effect. Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah,
little coins dropping into the. Yep.
Because there's going to be coins dropping into a swear jar.
Yep.
And at the end of the month, we're going to donate the proceeds to the swear jar, which I suspect is going to be a lot.
I reckon it might be a fair bit.
Yeah. We're not sure who we're going to donate it to yet. We're going to do some research and
maybe someone like Guide Dogs Australia or something else like that. Maybe
something
a local
relevant. Yeah.
Something relevant to dogs, and maybe a good shelter that we feel like we want to sort of take them under our wing and give the proceeds there. But Steve originally thought it was going to be, well, he suggested $10 a swear, and I was like, can't, Steve. I'm not. Oh, I nearly dropped an F. I'm not made of all the coins. So we're going, we'll start off 50 cents a swear because I'm not going to be able to hold it back.
Well, you know what's going to happen. We need to start with 50 cents and then so this is like training dogs. So we'll start with that, right?
Yeah,
and then we're gonna increase to, we're going to try and get you from going to escape into an avoidance paradigm, I reckon. So we'll start with 50 cents, and then we're going to go to $5. And if that doesn't work, we're going to go to $50.
Turn that e-collar right up, bitch.
That's right.
Anyways, this is it. This is the second episode. Thanks for tuning in. If you have, you're all beautiful. We're ugly. Sit back, relax, because we're coming at ya. All right. It's a bit of a change up from the old reggae.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
That guy sounds like he's having problems sleeping.
I wasn't ready for
that. Just as dumb as ever. Did you know we've got the South African national male men's, I don't know, whatever they are. Fucking, there's a coin in the jar. The choir is here. Say hello to them, Steve.
Hi, choir. How's it going?
Wow, thanks for that, guys. That was
that good, eh?
Quite impromptu. You guys,
it's amazing.
They love 50 Cent.
They do.
They love him.
Incredible.
Yeah. Get rich or die trying, guys.
We've always got someone in the audience here, don't we?
We always do. We've still got our laughing dudes.
Yeah,
give us a laugh, dudes. Thank you very much.
Good job, guys.
Great job, guys. Remember, any joke, whether it's good or bad, laugh at it. All right, what are we talking about today, Steve?
Yeah, so You mean our dog ugly topic?
Oh, it is. It's the first one because in episode 1 we didn't do one.
That's right.
It is. It's the dog ugly topic of the week.
Yes.
All right, are you guys ready? Settle in. This topic is dog ugly.
It's the dog ugly topic of the week.
Never gets old. I could listen to you whisper to me at night time every night.
Oh.
I'd doze off so quickly. Wouldn't have a sleep problem like the guy from the intro song. I'd be like, big kahuna, quick, sweet nothings.
Yeah,
Just talk to me about candy or something.
See, I don't know if I can talk to you about candy.
That's so creepy. Oh, the lollipop goes in your mouth.
Oh, God, yes.
Oh, Canadian candy.
Or
Anyways,
over
dog ugly topic of the week. What is it?
Yeah, so the dog ugly topic this week is puppyhood and the socialization period, to be more specific.
The cutest period for a lot of people.
Yes,
the one that everybody craves, everyone gets jealous of
puppy
when
breath?
somebody's a little puppy. I love puppy breath.
Oh, God, puppy
If you
breath.
could bottle it or make a spread out of it so I could put it on a sandwich or my Vita Wheats, I would do it. I'd have a puppy breath Vita Wheat.
Oh yeah, it's so good. But yeah, so we're here to talk about the socialization period in puppies, and I guess the controversial topic of how do you socialize without putting your puppy at risk of other sort of diseases that they can contract.
Most commonly, parvo.
Parvo, yes,
which is the nightmare result for any new dog owner or anyone that's got a new puppy. And more often than not, when you take your dog to get their vaccinations and stuff, the vet will be sure to tell you, all right, you're not to let this dog go anywhere that's, a social dog park or anything like that, or interact with anything.
Anywhere that there may have been a dog.
That there may have been a dog, because there is the risk that the dog will contract parvo disease. Or parvovirus, sorry.
As a trainer is absolutely crazy to me.
Yeah, that's a Josh banging his head against a brick wall moment.
Yes. Now, we have to try and keep an understanding of, yes, the vets are saying it because of a particular reason, but if you look at it strictly in a training and socialization side of things, we are talking about completely destroying your dog, by not socializing them properly.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think what we want to talk about today is what happens in the socialization period, how long it is, what are the most important parts of it, and what you should be doing in order to get your dogs to be,
at the level that they are going to be effective as adults.
That's right, yeah.
If that makes sense, Their best chance of having a good, rich, fulfilling life without having sort of any hang-ups, like major hang-ups, if that makes sense.
Makes sense to me, Josh.
Yep, makes definite sense to me. In fact, I've got 2 new puppies at the moment that may end up being mine, or I might move them on. Depends who's going to use them and what they're going to be used for. But I would absolutely never even consider not taking those puppies out and socializing them with other dogs, or taking them to, environments that they might find uncomfortable and that will build their resilience and character in that time that I get them to the 16-week mark. Because if I haven't done it up until the 16-week mark, then I've let the dogs down, and they're not, well, the likelihood that they're not going to be as good as they could be is there.
It's almost
it's almost a surety.
It's a surety.
A certainty.
I would say that you're much more likely to have a lower functioning dog.
Yep, very reactive.
That's right,
scared of a lot of things. The list and goes on and on.
I guess let's get into the more in-depth side of it. So anybody who's not 100% sure about this, the socialization period is, the critical socialization period is sort of 0 to 16 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's parts of that we aren't sort of included in because they're at the breeder and
exactly. And most breeders, I think it's law, isn't it, that you can't take a dog before 8 weeks?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, which is actually a week after they the prime time to take a dog is 7 weeks.
Yep. And more often than not, if I'm taking a working dog, I'm taking that dog at 6 weeks.
That's right. And
that's when I take it.
We know the breeders, and we know.
Well, I know the breeders that I work with these dogs, and they prefer that if I take the dogs at 6 weeks. I find that it just builds that sort of dog to handler relationship a little bit better, and they're sort of less dependent on other dogs and being around their mum still. Well, but that's debatable, and it's a case-by-case basis. I absolutely understand that, but that's just how I see it, and that's my experience with it. I have had dogs where I've picked them up at 8, even 9, 10 weeks, and I've had success. But generally, I like to get them at around 6 weeks, but I understand not everybody can do that.
Yes, so there are actually, you were saying, it's debatable. Well, there are some studies that show that, if the pups are left with their mothers for too long, they develop other
undesirable
traits and things. Yeah, that's right. So from 0 to 16 weeks, that's the critical period of learning.
Mm-hmm.
The first 3 weeks, that's your neonatal sort of period, and that's when they're basically just with their mothers. The only thing that I would sort of recommend that breeders are doing is, taking the pups out, weighing them, doing that sort of stuff, so that they get different temperature changes and things like that happening. Those are called biosensory stimulation.
Yep.
If the breeder's not doing that, it's not great. I'm sure they will be.
Any self-respecting breeder that has a vested interest in it, and well, they all have vested interest in it in some way or another. But if they're serious about it, they will be doing this. Like, they'll be, as soon as they can, sort of picking them up, handling them, taking them into new environments, just putting them in heaps of different situations. Like a lot of them always talk about, these puppies are raised outdoors as soon as they open their eyes, and they're hanging around kids and everything and stuff like that, and which is real selling points for families to buy the dogs. But that's what they need to be doing from that in that neonatal sort of thing.
Yeah, and then from 3 to 12 weeks, we've got more the socialization with other people and other things and that sort of stuff. So where you need to be bringing your dogs out to public places and those types of things. The 12 to 16 weeks is where it starts to fall off. Now, you start to lose that socialization period. And there's even some new studies out that say even earlier than 12 weeks is where you start to lose the socialization period. So with that, the injections and inoculations for these dogs, they don't end until 16 weeks.
Yep.
So we're getting these dogs, and they're going to the vets, and they're staying in their houses and seeing nothing and doing nothing until they completely lose their socialization period. Then they go out and they're afraid of everything. So and you're left
with all these problems that you could have sort of sorted out earlier if the dogs had have been socialized properly and involved and exposed to certain environmental stimulus.
Yes. Now, the next question that I get quite a lot as a trainer is, what actually do you do? What should you do with your puppies?
Mm-hmm.
Because we say, get them out, do this, do that. Well, yes, you get them out and you do those things, but really what it comes down to is they have to have good experiences in everything they do.
100%, man.
If they don't 100%. Have good experiences, then you are actually showing them that's something that they shouldn't be okay with, and when they get older, they will continue to not be that okay with those things, or it will take a lot more time to fix it.
Yep. A quick example for what I generally do when I first get a dog, and this is these are hunting dogs, ladies and gents. So what I'm going to be doing is going to be completely different to what you're going to be doing. Although you probably could do it, and you might get good results. But one of the first things that I do is take a dog to water. Generally, as a puppy, they're going to be pretty. I've had some good ones that just head and shoulders straight in there, and they have a great time. And you don't need to worry about anything. But these two that I've got at the moment, sort of tiptoe around the edges. We've been for probably 3 sessions. So spaced out between, 2 or 3 days. And at the start, they're sort of hesitant to get in the water. I never forcefully put them in there. I'll walk into the water, and then it's up to them if they want to come and be close to me, which is naturally what they want to do. Then they're going to have to It's their idea. They have to go into the water. And so I ensure that nothing bad's going to happen to the dog. Make sure we use an area that's safe, and the dog's not going to get hurt, or the water's not too deep or anything like that, or the water's not running too fast, so the dog's going to get carried downstream. And then after a while, the dogs are like, oh, it's not so bad. And then they'll actually start doing things that they normally would do, and that sort of fear and anxiety subsides, and they continue on sort of just being puppies. And, you know, they're becoming...
That's a great point, Josh.
Yeah.
I'm going to step in there. Josh said something there that's the most important thing about any new experience that a puppy has. The fear and anxiety was reduced, and they start to relax.
Yep.
So if you take a puppy out of that situation before they start to relax, or while they're sort of panicking or doing something like that,
Yep.
You're actually going to make the problem worse.
Exactly.
So you have to make sure that the puppy starts to relax and calm down, and then you take them away and show them that they've now learned that, okay, there's no problem here. Now you can take them away from it.
Yep.
This is one of the biggest things that I think people misunderstand. Oh, well, I took the dog here, I took the dog there. Yeah, but did they get over the problem when they were there? You know?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people miss that step, which, you know, defeats the purpose of the whole thing.
And so let's apply this to, say somebody has an 8-week-old puppy that they want to socialize with another dog. Maybe that's in someone else, like a friend's backyard, and they're like, yeah, I'm happy to expose my dog to this dog. I'm not worried that it's going to get sick or anything like that. Okay, if the dog is a particularly big dog and boisterous, then you're going to have to control that situation, because there is risks that the dog may get trampled, and then that's going to imprint on the dog's mind and potentially cause problems down the track when they're confronted by maybe bigger dogs or dogs of that color, or boisterous dogs. Yeah. So it might cause a trigger moment in that dog where they're like, oh. So you're really going to have to frame that situation up nicely so that the dog A, being the puppy, is nice and calm, and dog B, being the bigger dog or the older dog, is also nice and calm. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with that completely. Yeah. And I think if you can't find a dog that's suitable, going to a obedience school or something like that where they do puppy socialization is probably a good idea for you. If you don't have friends and people that have good dogs that you can socialize with, don't just go, oh, well, this is the only dog I've got, so I'm going to socialize with this one. If it causes a bad experience for your pup, then it's just going to be a problem. Extend
that olive branch and see what else you can find, because the puppy schools and stuff, they often have those sort of caveats, I guess you could call them. They're like, if your dog hasn't had X, Y, and Z inoculation, then you're not allowed in here, sort of thing. So, which is again counterproductive.
Yeah, there's a few different ways that the puppy schools do it. If the puppies are all at the same level of inoculation, then they'll allow them in. But one thing I find with puppy schools is they go the wrong way. They think that now this is not a bagging on puppy schools or anything. This is something that puppy schools do that I think they just don't know what they're doing in certain situations, as bad as that sounds when I say it. But they let the dogs just jump on each other and bash each other and all that. And that's not how we want our dogs to play when they meet other dogs in public. So we shouldn't be teaching that to them from puppies. Yes, they work it out and this and that, but some puppies do it more than other puppies, and one puppy won't like it, and so one puppy's getting a really bad experience and learning not to like other dogs, and the other puppy is thinking that that's the way that you're supposed to play. So when you have those things happening, you need to be making sure that the dogs are playing in a way that is constructive and that they
everybody's enjoying it.
Exactly. And I mean, for my dogs in particular, I don't ever want them to be jumping over and onto other dogs ever. So when they're playing with dogs that they intimately know, maybe dogs in the same household or friends that are very close, I let them play it in a more rough manner. But if they're out at a park, they don't play that way. Yeah, simple as that.
It's so subjective, I guess. Yes, absolutely. If you have a pet dog and stuff, 100% that's the way that you have to roll. But I was like, oh, My dogs are like, I just let them be rough, like, because that's how I learn to be warriors, you know.
But that's with your dogs.
Yeah, exactly. That's my dog. So
exactly.
if you're listening and you're like, oh, I've got this dog that I want to use for like hunting and stuff, you got to go down a completely different path to, you know, I want Fluffy to be a good house dog and be sociable with other dogs, you know. So just to put that little marker in there, because, you know, I find like on the flip side, inhibiting that behavior in my dogs that I use for work, if I do that, they're less likely to have the desirable traits that I want when they get older.
Right.
You know.
Yes, absolutely.
So I just let dogs be dogs in my environment and when I'm training dogs. But Steve is absolutely 110% correct in that if you've got a pet and you want it to be sociable with other dogs, and you know,
well, if you're going to be bringing your dog to
exactly
dog parks,
bringing your dog to the dog park,
yeah, and
that's
and going to cafes and doing this and doing that, you don't want your dog to think that every single other dog is a play toy.
Exactly.
And
he's
we're
got
going
his
to
big
do
boy
this
pants on.
Yeah, he's just going to go around and do whatever he feels like. They have to understand that not every dog is going to be a dog that they can play with, and you know, when they are playing, there are limits.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that starts as puppies. That starts in that 0 to 12 weeks. And if you're not getting some good quality socialization with them at that age, then, you know, it's just going to be trouble for you when you get older. The other thing I want to talk about during that time is the novelty of new things. What we are trying to do at that age is wear off some of the novelty of every new thing that's in their environment.
Mm-hmm.
And I find most people, you know, don't get their dogs out enough. Maybe they go once or twice while their dogs are young, but they need to go out lots and lots and lots of times if that's something that they plan on doing when they're older.
Yeah, just because you've done it once doesn't mean you've fixed or you've put the building blocks in place to give the dog success.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to do it a lot of times, not just the one. And I'm, you know, sort of hypocritical of me to say, but there are things with my dogs that I'm like, oh yeah, I've done it. Like, is it really that important?
Well, every trainer does that. Like, yeah. I find with my dogs, I don't follow everything that I should do because you know, time is also a factor. You
exactly.
know? So we have to be able to do as much as we can, but with the time that we have.
Yep.
And that's why when you are getting a dog, make sure you do have enough time to do, you know, at least a grand percentage of what you need to be doing. And if you don't have that time, maybe rethink getting a dog at that age, or, you know, rescue a dog. If you can't work on a puppy and what a puppy needs, which is a lot, then maybe get something that's not, you know, in that stage. Exactly
right. You know, it's a massive commitment, and it can be really messed up if you do it wrong. Not all the time. It's not going to be like uber catastrophic, but it could be financially catastrophic down the track. I want to talk about identifying certain behavioral things within puppies that might not be desired traits in that early period when you first get them. So the little male pup, he's 9.5 weeks old.
Your little guy.
Utah.
Utah, give me 2.
Yeah, so I've noticed that he is a massive resource guarder for food around other dogs. I can pick it up. Like, I can pick him up, like, take away his food and stuff. But when another dog, even Joe, you know, Joe will go up and be like, oh, you got a pig's ear? Well, actually, it's mine. And then Utah will just go bananas.
It's not yours, Joe.
No, it's not. And I'm like, you know, I've identified that, and I don't want any of my dogs to do that. All right? So what I'm doing there is the old negative reinforcement model of if you're going to be a little son of a bitch, well, guess what? It's going to disappear. And then nobody gets it. And then they beat the shit out of him with a pillowcase full of soap, full of cakes of soap. Not a pillowcase full of like the hand dispensed soap, because that'd just be weird. But
bar soaps, yes.
Yeah, bar soap. Like in Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, that's a good one, isn't it?
Goma Pyle. Yeah. But yeah, just identifying things that aren't desirable when they are young, and seeing if you can sort of stamp it out. Like, put out the small spot fire before it, burns half the countryside down, so to speak.
Absolutely, yes.
What do you reckon?
I think that's some good advice as well.
Have you got any examples along the line, along your journey, of where you've found that in puppies that you've worked with? Or
I find it a lot with things like they're barking at other dogs and things like that. So they go out for a walk and they're barking at other dogs. And I think a lot of that has to do with by the time I get there, they've called me because their dog is doing this, and it's past the socialization period, so they've missed that, and they didn't get them. I'll ask them, what has the dog done? Oh, well, we haven't had him out yet because the vet told us not to. And then we go out, and the dog's barking at everybody now. So how do I fix it? Well, you should have had the dog out so that it could see other dogs and not be afraid of them and have good experiences. That's how you should have prevented it. But once you get to that point, then we have to spend a lot more time stopping the dog from doing it.
But these are just things that like the average dog owner doesn't know, man. Like,
absolutely,
and we can't expect everybody to know, because it's not what
it's not even that they don't know; they're being told the opposite.
True.
So I don't blame the owner.
No,
I certainly don't blame the owner. I think it's the society that we're stuck where the vets feel like if they say, let the dogs go out and socialize. I'm sure most of the vets think that socialization is better.
Yeah. In fact, I've spoken to vets, one-on-one, vets that I know. Like, I'm not going to drop any names here, but they've actually said, the worst...
Carlos? Are you talking about Carlos?
Carlos. Yeah. He drives an ice cream truck on the side. Yeah. So he's like an ice cream truck / vet. Ice cream man / vet. But, Carlos is like, you need to socialize your dog, man.
I didn't know that you had that in your
Yeah, he's part of the Latin Kings.
Wow.
He's like, have a look at my chicken shirt, man. Only top button done up, Hey, my girlfriend makes a wicked taco. But Carlos, besides his girlfriend making a wicked taco, actually has important opinions on this. And he says, not a single vet out in the community, if I went in there with a puppy and I was like, can you guarantee that given these vaccinations that my dog won't get parvo? And they will not do it. They won't take that on board. But what they will do is they will tell you not to socialize your dogs. Not socialize it, but sort of keep them wrapped in cotton wool until the 16-week mark, and then it's off their hands, sort of thing. And I'm not shit canning vets, not at all. I got a lot of mates that are vets.
I think they have to say it.
They have to because
if they say go and socialize them, and then the dog gets a disease, well then
it's going to ruin them.
It's going to come back.
Yeah, it's going to bite them real hard.
Yeah, right in their bums.
Like a little snapping turtle. Just.
Have you ever seen a snapping turtle?
Not in the flesh. I've seen David Attenborough talk about it. They're native to North America, right?
Yeah, we had them back in Canada.
Oh, that is scary.
I had one come out of the pond in the front of my house. So, yeah.
Hey, did you say Canada?
I did, yeah. It's when I was
Oh, there it is. I was wondering when it was going to happen.
Yeah, well, when I was...
Breathe it in, ladies and gentlemen. It always goes down smooth.
Boy, it does, doesn't it?
Yep. But the snapping turtle came out of your front pond.
Yeah.
So you had a front pond and a back pond?
No.
Multiple hockey rinks.
The only pond was the front pond.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We did sometimes get a lot of water in the field.
Yep.
Behind my place, and sometimes that would freeze, and it would make a bigger ice rink than
what?
The pond. Yeah. So we would go and skate out there.
When I make a time machine, man, I'm going back to hang out with you.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We used to get quad bikes and tie sleds to the back of them and drive around in the big fields. And
I'm sick of hearing about your fucking cool childhood adventures. Damn it, there's another. Anyways,
cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, tell me a story about snapping turtle real quick.
What were we about?
This is terrifying. It's like a small green great white shark.
Oh, no, actually, this is a kind of a scary one. So when we were really young, and we were going out on this dried up creek bed, and all of a sudden we were going along. We saw this area that was moving in the mud. It was kind of soft mud, and we were in gumboots up to our knees, half losing them and whatever. And we went out and we were going towards where this thing was moving, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this bloody gigantic snapping turtle popped out of the mud. It was cruising along under the mud.
What?
I'm not even kidding you at all.
That is a war machine.
Oh God! And then
What a warrior.
we brought a little stick, like a stick,
Yeah.
like a piece of wood,
Yep.
over to it, which was about the size of, like, as a kid, like your wrist.
Yep.
And we stuck it near the thing's mouth, and it bit it in half.
Oh.
It bit it in half. Yeah.
As
So-
Carlos would say, man, you had the big cojones. I don't go near snapping turtles, eh?
We ran from there at that point.
Snapping turtles shaking his fist, and he's like, and stay away.
Yeah, it was actually one of the craziest things. So, but that has nothing to do with
It's got nothing to do with dogs, but could you imagine if you, like, somehow you played God and you merged a snapping turtle with, like, I don't know, a pug, something like that.
A pug, yeah.
A snapping pug. He'd be the funniest looking little dude. But anyways, yeah, so in summary, the 16-week period, before the 16-week period, how do we summarize this?
Oh, there's so much to talk about, so I don't want to... don't go out of this conversation thinking, oh, well...
Yeah, because remember, we don't know it all. This is just an opinion. And, this is what we do. It's not right for everybody.
And don't forget that there's a lot more information. And if you
Heaps.
want more...
Go and do the research. This is just a little fire starter.
I'll tell you a good book to go to.
Yeah.
If you go to the Handbook of Applied Dog Behavior and Training by Steve Lindsay,
Yep.
and have a look at his chapter on this sort of topic.
Are there pictures in it?
There are illustrations. Illustrations. It's a really difficult book to read, guys. So it's technical.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do want some more information,
so that's one option, but also just do internet research as well. Talk to other people about it. But
internet. You know what? Your best bet is to go find a dog trainer that knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
Because even I agree that doing research, like, and going on the internet and that is a good idea, except that you will find a million things that contradict
each other.
One thing you look at will contradict the next thing you look at, which will contradict the next thing you look at. So I find trying to get the information and get good information off the internet about dog training is potentially not going to be as easy. So get a textbook about dog training that covers the science behind it and the studies, or get a dog trainer that has covered those topics and has learned about it themselves, and then they can give you some good information.
Right on, Big Kahuna. You know what's coming up next?
Oh, what is it?
It is... And here it is.
I don't know what breed that it could be. Maybe a Whippet or a small Bichon Frise. But if you stick around, you will see. 'Cause it's time for breed of the week. I don't know what breed that it could be. Maybe a Labrador or a Basenji. But if you stick around, you will see. 'Cause it's time for breed of the week.
Holy Josh, was that Sean Paul meets 50 Cent?
Well, could have been. It was actually Shaggy. I'm actually good personal buds with him, and
Was that Shags?
that was Shags.
Wow.
Yeah, he was here the other day. It cost me a lot of money to get him to do that.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
I
he's
found-
not a small timer, is he?
no, he's not. He's definitely not a small timer.
Yeah.
But thanks again, Shags, for getting on board and doing that little ditty for us. But Steve, what is breed of the week?
Oh, we've got a good one today.
Oh, we do too. This is
Yeah.
this is an interesting little sound bitch.
Oh, it is. Oh, God, I just want to get into it right now.
Yeah.
Hold on. So, I'm just going to say, well, you know what? There's about 7 names for this dog.
There certainly is.
Actually, how many are there exactly?
When I counted, it was close to 7. I think it was like around the 5 or 6 mark.
We've only picked a few.
Yeah, I got 3 of the ones that I liked.
Yeah, okay. Give us a go.
So this is the Louisiana Catahoula Leopard Dog, also known as the Catahoula Hog Dog, Louisiana Dog, or the Leopard Dog.
Yes.
Down in the swamps.
I think there's another one, Catahoula Cur or something as well.
Yeah,
and then
Catahoula Cur. Yep.
about 2 or 3 more.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
This breed originates in Louisiana, USA.
that is not where Elvis is from.
No, it's not. But,
I thought you
thanks,
were doing,
Elvis.
Was that the...
Oh, Elvis, you're back.
right.
You never actually died, did you, big fella? I'll never do. No. Help yourself to the fridge, Elvis. There's some old, chocolate cake in there or
I
something.
think there's a bit of Vietnamese left over there as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, man, Elvis.
Elvis, could you get my stuff out of the dryer? Oh. Anyway.
Josh has conversations with himself all the time. And
that was this conversation with Elvis.
No, I know.
He's
but
hiding out here.
It's amazing.
He doesn't want people to know he's not dead.
Yes. Of course. Anyway, so back to the...
Anyways, back to the Louisiana Catahoula leopard dog. We're just going to go through some stats. So, its physical appearance as far as what it looks like. Now, these dogs, when they're fully grown, you can expect anywhere but a male to be anywhere between 25 to 48 kilos, standing 56 to 71 centimeters tall.
Ooh, that's big.
Oh, and the females weighing in between 22 and 45 kilograms
45.
with an average height of 56 to 69 centimeters tall, having won all their previous bouts by way of knockout. No, that's not these dogs.
No.
But that's how much they weigh. And when you look at them, these dogs actually have some magnificent coats, which is not a reason why to buy a dog.
Don't buy the...
Don't buy the dog just because it looks bloody
mad.
good. Don't get upset. But the coat on this dog is generally short to medium.
Mostly short.
Mostly short, though. Yeah. Sort of like a pointer's, like a German short-haired pointer's coat.
Yes.
But it's got a brilliant patchy coat. And, breeders often, unfortunately, breed for coat type. That's what they do. And it's not rare to have tricolours and quadcolours.
Yeah. Actually, I've seen some really beautiful
You've
dogs.
trained a few of these dogs.
I've only trained
I've seen one in the flesh.
Yeah, I've
in
trained
my
a couple
life.
of these, and they're absolutely stunning dogs. It's annoying that they're so stunning because it would be a reason that people would want to buy them.
Yeah.
But they're actually a really nice working dog. So don't buy one because of its looks, because it's gonna destroy.
And I know what you
stuff.
guys are thinking out there. You guys are thinking, God, breed of the week's only for working dogs. Well, it's not.
Don't be ridiculous.
Don't be ridiculous. Okay, because I'm sure somewhere along the lines there we're going to talk about that snapping turtle pug thing.
Well,
that we spoke about before.
Let's think about it this way, Josh. Almost all dogs were originally bred for working.
Exactly. They all had a purpose. They're all working.
Oh.
But the breeders have ruined their drive and their spirit.
Oh, those poor spirits.
Those poor things. But I'm going to touch on a history. It's going to be a real brief history because they have a really interesting story, these dogs. But basically, back in the old times in Louisiana, what was Louisiana, the Native Americans were using red wolves for hunting game in the woods and swamps, etc., etc.
It's pretty intense.
They were using the red wolves. But they had mind control over those things, man. It was the peyote or something.
Yes.
They knew what they were doing, those Native Americans. They had a way with animals. Sad. Sad that they don't live.
Sad what happened to them.
Yeah, exactly. But there was a guy, I'm pretty sure he was a Spanish guy. Was that a thing that happened in America, the Spanish Inquisition? That happened in Mexico and stuff, hey?
There was some Spanish stuff going on over there.
Yeah. But his name was Hernando de Soto. And he... Back in I think it was the late 1600s, could be early 1700s, he went from Florida to Louisiana, and he brought with him his dogs of war, or his war dogs, which back then, it's commonly known were Alano Mastiffs, which is like a Spanish Mastiff, which is known to be extinct, and Greyhounds. And what he did with these dogs is he threatened the Native Americans to tell him where their gold and their treasure was. It's fucking crazy. Damn it.
And they were like...
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I haven't had one yet. Just
I know, because you're a good boy. You go to church and stuff.
Yeah, I don't.
You just got good self-control. But they used them to threaten the Indians to tell them where... and good places to hunt and stuff were. But eventually, as everything happens, DeSoto's entire world collapsed when he lost a battle, and he left the area, leaving behind his war dogs, and they just went about roaming free. And pretty much they just bred and interbred with each other, and the Native Americans red wolf.
So the natives just were like, all right, get out of here and leave your dogs, and they
piss off, you dickhead.
And did they tame those dogs then after that?
Well, of course they did. The Native Americans, they tame everything. They could tame an octopus and show it how to ride a bike, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Chief Navajama Bom Bom.
Well, they're supposed to be really intelligent octopus.
Yeah.
There.
Do you reckon they could ride a bike?
Yeah, I do.
Anyways, we'll talk about that after this.
You
and I will talk about this. Not on this. Yeah, snapping turtles octopus. Oh, I'm such an idiot.
Not good.
But basically, so when those dogs interbred and stuff with each other and the red wolves, some of the pups from those breedings, they were taken by the Native Americans and they became known as wolf dogs. And when the French came to Louisiana in the...
do you think that was before the socialization period was over?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely, in fact. Ties in. Great.
It does.
Yeah. The Native Americans definitely would have taken those
while
puppies.
They were young.
Yeah, while they were real young.
Weeks old,
yeah.
And then they would have imprinted on the natives and grown to like them as well.
Yeah.
Now, don't take that as a guarantee. You can't take just a wolf pup. And
who knows? Who knows that the Native Americans might have taken it to their like witch doctors and stuff, and they're like, now don't interact these dogs with anybody else until they've had their, crushed up berries or something. In 16 weeks.
I think that might be racist, Josh.
Do you reckon?
to say
yeah,
the natives took the dogs to their witch doctors. They called them healers.
Did
they?
They
were healers.
They were healers.
They had healers.
Like Australian cattle dogs, or
no,
they were healers.
Like they had their healers of the.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wasn't being racist. Sorry. Wasn't intentional.
We can use the swear jar for that one.
Yeah, well, that'll be a $5. But anyways, as I was saying, the French came to Louisiana in the 1700s. I think it was like the early or the mid 1700s. I couldn't really find a lot of info on it. But with them, they bought what was their Beauceron, which is a mastiff type breed. Looks a lot like a Rottweiler if you look it up now. But the French were known to be fascinated by the Indians' wolf dogs, and a lot of documentation has been passed down, and they made particular note of the dogs haunting glass eyes.
Oh, their eyes are amazing.
Yeah, their eyes are pretty amazing, these dogs. So I guess that's where it sort of came into it. But and then what they did from there, the French, they bred their Beaucerons with the wolf dogs, and that's where we have. That's what led to today's Catahoula.
Hang on, so that's what's gone on. So they took the ones from the natives and then they bred them with their...
Well, I think they interacted with the natives and they were like, hey, we've got a good thing going here. You guys have got a good thing going here. What does your healer reckon? And the healer's like, yep, I'll sign off on that one. And then they bred them together, and now we have Catahoula leopard dogs. Well, Louisiana Catahoula leopard dogs.
That's incredible. What an incredible story.
Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible, Big Kahuna.
Mm.
Now, basically, we'll go through some attributes and behavioral traits, but like I haven't had a lot to do with them, so you can't take this for gospel, but a lot of information that I found on various places that I went to, people that I've spoken to as well, these dogs are known for dog aggro.
Yeah.
Not all of them. But it's in there. I suppose it's in every dog, but
even if you listen to the breeders talk about them, they say, "Oh yeah,
true."
They have they have a propensity for dog aggro. So, obviously, if the breeders are mentioning it, then there's definitely something there.
Yep.
Most breeders wouldn't mention it if it was a problem.
These dogs are super active and athletic, and they're great climbers. There's heaps of videos on YouTube of these dogs climbing trees like it's shelling peas. Nice. I like that. I just made that up on the spot.
That's pretty good.
Climbing trees like
yep. The dog that the few that I've seen didn't have dog aggro.
They didn't?
No.
Yeah. Exactly, mate. That's right.
There you go.
Yep. But they are great climbers, So if you do have one or you're interested in getting one, you're going to need some good fencing. These are great hunting dogs, and they were also used. They still are used for herding cattle. And I even found a heap of notes that made a point that the Native Americans used these dogs for herding animals, even back then.
Yeah, they herded.
Even
they
back
would herd
then.
the animals all to certain areas. So
Exactly, when they moved their camps and stuff like that. So that's, a really versatile dog. People still use them for herding, and they still use them for hunting. Mainly big boars down there in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
These dogs are super aesthetically pleasing, which is, again, it's not a reason to get one. People, don't do it. Just because it looks awesome, you're gonna have headaches.
But do get one if you want a dog that looks good.
Exactly. If you have the capability to house the dog properly, you got the time to put into the dog, and to give it a good life, because it's going to need it. It's going to need heaps and heaps of regular exercise, mental stimulation in the forms of like good training and doing stuff that it wants to do. But you got to remember that these dogs like are A, herders and B, hunters. So, at some point, like, they're going to have a fairly decent amount of prey drive, I'd suspect. And, they're going to have hunt drive. So you can't get mad at it if you've taken it to the park and then it decides that it wants to go and find a possum and make friends with it with its teeth. Give it an old scalp massage with the old fangs, because it's likely that it's going to happen if you dive into getting one of these dogs and you don't know what you're doing. So don't get mad, get glad. I don't know how these dogs would go for dog sports. To be honest.
It's hard to tell.
I've heard they're like pretty hard-headed and stuff, and
they look like sort of a mastiff breed.
Yeah, they do. They look heavy in the chest.
Big, yeah, big dogs and
big boned.
They're. I would probably not be picking one of these dogs if I was going to go and do some sort of sports. Unless it was like a hunting. Yeah,
like
thing.
Unless it was like show jumping or something, because it'd probably be able to carry you. It would. Just jumping over all these things. You'd have to ask the healer first. But yeah, so that's a very brief intro to the Louisiana Catahoula leopard dog.
Well, that was really good, Josh. Thanks for that.
Thanks, mate. So we've done Dog Ugly Topic of the Week. We've done Breed of the Week.
We have.
And now, I promised people this, and I might have even made not allusions to it, but made reference to it in the Instagram.
Oh,
the Dog Ugly Dudes Talking Dogs Instagram.
Yes.
And there's people out there that have got questions for you.
Well,
big old questions, Kahuna.
And do you have something as a way to sort of introduce this segment into
I thought you'd never ask.
Oh my!
Stand by, Kahuna.
It's question time for Big Kahuna. Like, why does little Fluffy always shit on my doona? Why she bite my girlfriend when I'm trying to spoon her? And all these questions and more on Big Kahuna's mailbag.
Wow. I actually cannot believe your musical talent. I mean, that is incredible. How long did it take you to make that?
It took me 5 beers and about 4 hours.
Oh, my God. Absolutely fantastic. Anybody wants Josh to make a jingle for their company, he does that.
Do you like the harmonies in there?
Oh, Jesus. How did you do that?
Well, I recorded 2 separate tracks, and Shaggy really helped me with my vocals. He's a good vocal coach. And but reach into that mailbag, Kahuna.
Let me get into it. Hold on. Oh, God, it's a big bag.
It's a big bag. But first, I want to ask a question. Why does little Fluffy shit on the doona?
That is a huge can of worms that we've just opened there. Little Fluffy's shit on the tuna. I tell you what. You know?
We're not painting little Fluffy in a good light, are we?
No, we're not.
Sorry, Fluffs.
Silly Fluffs.
Maybe we'll answer that at a different time.
Yeah.
All right, but what do you got there? You got questions?
Yeah. Let me just get the bag here. Hold on.
That's opening a bag sound effect made by me.
Let me reach in it.
And pass it to me.
Yep. Okay. There you go.
Thank you. All right. The first question. All right. This is from Jonathan in Warrie Wood in Sydney. Warrie Wood?
Warrie Wood?
No, I don't know. Anyways, what do you got? Kahuna. My roommate's dog follows me around all the time, and I find it annoying. How do I stop this? Are you kidding, Jonathan? You could have asked the Kahuna anything, and you asked that.
Oh, Jono.
Tie a bunch of garlic around your neck or something. I'll field that one. Tie a bunch of garlic around your neck or something. Smell bad. Actually, no, the dog probably won't care.
Stop. See, this is the thing. We can actually go in a lot of depth into this question because you know why a dog is following you around is because they think they're going to get something good out of it.
Yeah.
So stop doing whatever it was that was good for the dog.
Yeah. What have you been doing, Jonathan?
Yeah. You've been doing something, and don't lie to us.
Don't lie to us.
Don't lie to us.
Because I know that you're an ear scratcher, Jonathan.
You're clearly an ear scratcher, or you're a bloody food giver.
Yeah, you probably get away from me.
I'll give you something here.
I'll give you this whole sausage.
If you'll just leave me alone, right?
Fluffy's like, you. Oh, I nearly dropped an F. Oh. You fudging idiot. I'm going to follow you around forever now.
So we don't have enough information here, Jono.
We don't. You've given us nothing.
We've got... Okay, so...
But we do appreciate that you've been listening.
Yeah, we do.
Or that you've fielded a question.
Let's not bash him too bad because he's our...
I'm not going to bash him.
He's only one of 3 listeners. So.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks, John.
Sorry. We'll send you out we'll send you a Dog Ugly Dudes Talking Dogs hat.
We'll get some made.
We'll find one. Alrighty. Next question. Reach in there.
Okay, hold on. Let me get it.
Oh, you're elbow deep in the bag.
Yeah, it's big.
You must have a lot of mail in there.
Oh, so much mail.
I wish we had time for... Alrighty. What do we got? Glenn from Burpengary in Queensland.
Burpengary.
Hello, Glenn. Hello, Glenn. What's going on, big fella? Alright. Kahuna. My blue heel across... Oh, here we go. My blue heel across Kelpie manically bites at the wheels of the wheelie bin whenever I try and move it. The other day, he actually broke the wheel off the bin. Kahuna, why is he doing this, and is there any way I can deter him or stop him from doing it? Oh, Glenn.
Glennis. No, Glennis, that's a female's name. Glenn. Glenn. So, this is, it's not straightforward. There's one thing you have to do here to stop him, except for if you just take the other wheel off the wheelie bin and just carry it out.
Yeah.
Then you don't have that problem anymore. But
it's more of a mechanical solution.
That's right. Yeah. So the thing that we're looking at here is potentially a herding instinct. So the dog
Good point.
Dog's
Good
trying
point.
to get the bin.
That's what I was thinking.
To go in a different direction, He's
because
like,
that's what a blue. Your dog's half blue heeler, and then it's in the name.
Half Kelpie
and half Kelpie. I just said half, like a Canadian. Half. But
half
so
and half.
A dog that's half blue heeler and why am I answering the male Kahuna? But I just have this insatiable urge that I need to talk about this.
Get into it.
But it's in the name, Glenn. Blue heeler. That's what they do. They nip at the heels.
Yes.
And the wheel of the bin is not on the bin's shoulder, my friend.
It's just
effectively at the heel level, I would suggest.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he's going getting at it.
It certainly
getting
sounds
after
like
it.
It certainly sounds like an instinct sort of driven behavior.
It sounds like an instinct driven behavior,
doesn't it? Yeah. So there's a couple ways that you can go about fixing something like that.
Yep.
Number one, you have to manage it while you're not training it. So if you're not directly training against it, manage the situation so the dog's not doing it, because the dog is probably getting some sort of positive reinforcement out of doing the behavior because it's relieving a natural instinct.
Yep.
So if you're letting the dog do it while you're trying, while you're not training, then you're letting them get away with reinforcing the behavior.
Yeah, they're reinforcing it themselves.
Which is a
You're
a problem with a lot of behaviors.
You're just helping him doing it by pulling the wheelie bin along.
That's right.
Creating that
Making
sort
that
of
game,
that game out of it. So,
so in the early stages, I would be keeping the dog away while you don't have time to train it.
Yep.
And then when you get an opportunity to train it, have somebody there with the dog on a lead, and every time they go to herd the wheelie bin, you pull them up on it and get them to do something else, get them to sit or do something else, and then when they do that other behavior, reward that.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to give them something else to do in the meantime and show them that behavior is no longer going to work, and then you move along with that and start doing it without them on lead and correcting them in some other form.
Yep.
There's plenty of ways to do that, but we're not.
Plenty of ways. We're not going to talk about it right now, Glenn. You'll have to keep listening, my friend, but we really appreciate you do. We're going to send out a meat tray to Glenn.
Yeah. We better send it express. That's a long way. Glenn gets a meat tray.
Yeah, Glenn, you get a meat tray. Minus 2 snags because I need dinner.
Yes.
Minus 2 snags. And reach into that mailbag one more time.
Oh, Glenn's meat
You only went wrist deep that time.
I know. There were so many in there. I wanted to go to the bottom one from the top.
All right, here we go. Caitlin in Ferntree Gully.
Oh, the gully?
The gully.
Oh, that's
not far from where we are.
Wow. Oh, fantastic.
Not to give away where we're doing this from or anything.
No.
But, Caitlin, you're close. You're in the proximity.
Yes.
Hello, Caitlin. Thank you for writing into the Kahuna.
Yes, thanks.
And you know what she says?
What?
She says, Kahuna. I have a 3-year-old Labrador and an 18-month-old German Short-haired Pointer. Interesting dynamic there.
Yeah.
Generally, everything is good with my dogs. Okay, well, that's all we have. Thanks.
Right.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Fantastic.
Oh, there's more. Oh, there's more. Oh, the guys are laughing again. Thanks, audience. You've had a bit of an easy trot today, haven't you?
Yeah, you have. We haven't said...
You only get half pay today.
Yep, that's right.
Generally, everything is good with my dogs, although they have a huge tendency to jump up on any person that comes in the house.
Oh.
Any new person. The other day, my nana came over, and the dogs knocked a bowl of tiramisu out of her hands and nearly pushed her over. Poor nana.
Poor tiramisu.
Poor tiramisu.
Oh.
I bet the dogs ate it, though. So they've reinforced it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's actually what happened, but the way it plays out in my head is that the dogs jumped up on Nana.
Knocked the tiramisu
Nana's
over.
gone though. Oh!
Yeah.
Tiramisu's gone everywhere, and the dogs have gone, oh, yes.
They've eaten all the tiramisu
oh,
and eaten Nana as well. Oh, poor Nana.
Oh, Nana. Anyways. Oh, yeah, knocked the tiramisu out of her hand and nearly pushed her over. I was so embarrassed. Kahuna, any tips on how I can stop this from happening? Please, otherwise I'll keep missing out on Nana's tiramisu.
We can't have that, Caitlin.
Caitlin. We all need some Nana's tiramisu every now and again.
You know what's interesting about this?
What?
She says it in the beginning of the question, what actually is causing the problem. So it's happened multiple times, right?
Yep.
And obviously it's being rewarded somehow,
Yep.
So if the more it's happening, if it's continuing to happen, it means that somehow it's being rewarded.
Okay.
Right? So the dog wants to do it again.
Yeah.
There's getting something valuable out of it.
Uh-huh.
So, and she says that it's happened multiple times. This is just one of those bad ones where you knocked the tiramisu away, and it's Nana. So
Yep.
it could have been just a friend normally or whatever. But what normally happens in these situations is when the dog runs and first of all, this goes back to when they were young puppies and they didn't get a lot of socialization. Everything is novel. Everything new is interesting to them. And so anytime a new person comes in, they think it's the best thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's reinforced because when they go and interact with that new person is giving them a very high value reward. Quite often they'll get big cuddles, or even if, even if they don't want even if they don't want to interact with the dogs, they'll push them away or something like that. But that to the dog is rewarding.
Exactly.
Right?
Still getting interaction. And people don't interpret that as rewarding, because in their mind it's like, get away from me. Like pushing the dog away.
Yeah.
But the dogs don't see it like that.
No, they don't. I can get
Not
dogs to play and get into a really rough game by doing that.
Yeah.
I specifically do that to show people how
you
ineffective
can,
it is.
exactly. How boisterous you can get dogs. Yeah.
And so,
especially with like a young Labrador and a German Short-haired Pointer.
Yeah.
2 bundles of energy.
Absolutely. And socially, gregarious breeds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially the Labs.
Yeah. Just happy jelly bean.
Yeah.
Sacks of jelly beans.
That's right. A couple of sacks of jelly beans there. And and when they get that reward from people, that to them is a very, very high value reward. So what I would be doing here is training this totally outside of the tiramisu realm.
Yeah, don't involve it.
That's right. Keep the tiramisu
on the bench. Keep it on the bench.
Yep. Yeah. And basically what I would be doing is practicing having people come in and having the dogs meet them in a constructive manner and not get any sort of valuable reward or resource out of those people until they do something that is constructive.
Yep.
So what does that mean? It means manage the situation in a lot of ways,
Frame it up a bit.
That's right. Don't let your dogs just run up to the first person that comes in the door.
Yeah.
Keep them back, keep them on a tether,
exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like if you could even set it up so you're like, okay, so I'm going to get
I would, and
Nancy?
not only I would definitely set it up.
Yeah. I'm going to get Nancy to come around in 10 minutes. She's going to knock on the door.
Nancy and Caitlin are great friends.
They are great friends. Yeah. I just know this.
Yeah.
It's common knowledge here in Victoria that Caitlin and Nancy are good pals. But yeah, so Nancy comes around, knocks on the door. Before that, the dogs are on a lead.
That's right.
So you can control it.
You knew Nana was coming over.
You knew Nana was coming over.
Nobody just has Nana come over without, and if
Nana doesn't just show up.
That's right. And if someone does just show up, make sure that, you take the 2 minutes that it takes to put the dogs on a lead.
Yeah, just be like, just a second.
Yeah. Be there in a minute.
I'm
done.
Yeah, I just putting some undies on. That would be me. Whenever the postman comes to the door, I'm like, oh, don't leave just yet. Don't leave. I'll just put some pants on.
I don't want to have to drive to the post office. Just let me put my pants on. Yep.
He's like, no, oh, you're too late. No pants.
He did the same thing.
No
when
pants,
I showed
no
up today.
dance. Yeah.
Same thing.
Just running around like.
And I could see you through the open window.
Yeah, I was in the backyard doing what you do as a kid. Like you've got the top half's covered. Like so, I've got a t-shirt on, but literally nothing from the waist down.
And your neighbors look right down in your yard as well. It's incredible,
It's a liberating feeling wearing nothing but a t-shirt and nothing else. But
they have a whole song about that.
Do they?
Nothing but your t-shirt on. We'll put it in there as a little clip it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing but a t-shirt on.
No.
Never felt so beautiful, baby, as I do now.
Well, that's another good one, but no.
That I'm with you.
The one that I was thinking is a breakup song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, what were we talking about?
Caitlin and her
yeah,
dog.
Caitlin. But anyway, Caitlin, thanks for writing in. And as a result of having the most entertaining question, sorry, Glenn, you just narrowly missed out. You are the new proud owner of a Ford Fiesta.
Oh, that's not,
all you have to do is
not attainable.
All you have to do is go and buy one from any of your local Ford dealers.
Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah. Anyway,
we'll get her a meat tray.
Yeah, you can have half Glenn's meat tray. Glenn, is that cool with you? All right, cool. Anyways, folks, that's all we got time for. Thanks again for tuning in. We've covered off on 2 episodes now.
Yes, we have.
We're halfway up Everest.
We'll have a new set of listeners for each one.
Oh, goodness me. Anyways, you enjoy your weeks doing whatever you're doing. Kahuna, thank you so much again.
Oh, thanks you, Joss.
Did you just have a stroke? Ladies and gentlemen, we got to go. Thanks so much again.
Thanks you, Josh.
All right.
Thanks, Josh.
We'll talk to you next time. And you just keep it classy.
Bye. Go now.
Gotta go.